Okay, so DaVinci Resolve comes with lots of pre-made title sequences, which are great, but what if you want something really custom and branded? Easy. Make your own. Let's walk through the steps on how to create a custom title sequence that you will be able to use across projects to speed up your editing workflow. It's pretty easy to do, so let's just get on and do it. First, open DaVinci Resolve. So let's create a new project. Call this whatever you feel appropriate, and choose the location to save it in. To the purposes of this video, I'm saving it on my desktop. Once the new project opens up, let's move over to the Editing tab from the bottom. Then at the top, let's find the Effects tab, and then locate the Fusion Composition element, which is in the Effects menu on the left. Drag the Fusion Composition onto your timeline. Mine looks really small, so let's zoom into our timeline a bit so we can see what we are working with. Command and plus. On a Mac, zooms into the timeline, or you can use the slider at the top of the timeline panel. Next, go to the Fusion tab at the bottom. First thing we need to do is to add a text node to the stage. Click and drag the text icon down, and then connect the text node to the output by dragging out from the right little grey box. Now we can add some text and styling. First, I will add some text. I am following the styling for my channel. I want a multi-line title. Drag out all the options, and first I am going to left align the text using the H anchor parameter, dragging it all the way to the left. Next, I want to make sure the text is vertically aligned the top of the box, so when I add multiple lines, they fill the space going downwards. Simply click on the V anchor icon. Next, we need to position our text. So let's go to the Layout tab and move the text using the center X and Y fields. The default font isn't what we want, so let's go back to the Text tab and select our font. The font I'm using is called Bungee. I'm also just going to tweak the line height using the line spacing parameter. Now let's add a simple typing on animation to the text. Our project is set at 30 frames per second, so select frame 30, which will be 1 second, and then click the keyframe button next to the write on parameters. Then go to frame 1 in the timeline, and then move the slider on the write on setting all the way to the left. Okay, right, now let's add some color and flair to this title. I will be using a 3D render I created in Blender. I rendered it out as individual frames, which is perfect for what we need here. If you have a video file you want to use here, you will need to export it as individual frames. So to add an image sequence, we need to use the Loader tool. So pressing Shift Space brings up on Select Tool window. Type Loader into the search and select it, and then click Add. Immediately it will open a Finder window to choose your images. Navigate to where your images are and select the first image in the sequence. DaVinci will link the images automatically. To see our sequence, we need to connect it to the Media Out node like this. But we want to see our text and image sequence together. For that, we need to use the Merge node. So Shift Space, and then search for Merge, and add it. First, connect the output of the image sequence to the yellow input. Then connect the output of the text element to the green input of the Merge node. Green input is the foreground. And finally, connect the Merge output to the Media Out yellow input. Now we can see our images and our title together. The text size has changed for some reason, so let's quickly make that right by repositioning it and tweaking the size to how we want it. I want our image sequence to fade in at the same time as the text is typing in. So to achieve that, we need to use a brightness and contrast node on the image sequence. So shift space and search for brightness, add it, and then connect the image sequence output to its input, and then connect the brightness output to the yellow merge input. Making sure the brightness node is selected, we can now use the gain control to edit the opacity. Make sure the A, alpha channel, is on. It should be white, not grayed out. So we are on frame 1, so let's change the gain to 0, and then click the keyframe icon. Then move to frame 30, and change the gain back up to 1. Dragging the playhead, you can see the text typing on, the background fading in, and the animation playing. One final thing I want to do is to mask out the background near the end of the image sequence so that we can see footage beneath it. Select the polygon icon from the node toolbox, and now we can draw our mask. Let's disconnect that and plug it into the image sequence so that it affects the images. Now it's connected, we just need to invert the mask. Just tick the invert box. We have about 5 frames we need to mask, so quickly, frame by frame, we need to move the mask. So first, the frame before the one I just did, we need to move the mask off the stage. Same goes for the third frame. Next, we just need to move it to cover the top right. And then finally, let's edit the mask to cover most of the blue area. We need to add an extra point here, so click on the arrow with a plus symbol and then on the mask outline to add a new point, and then position it. Great, that's that done. Finally, we need to remove the title from the last frame, so I will simply keyframe it off the stage. So on the frame before we want it moved, let's click on the keyframe button on the center Y property in the Layout tab, and then move forward to the frame we don't want to see the text, and move the text off the canvas. Done. We are done animating and creating. Now we just need to turn this into a reusable macro that is housed in the Effects panel so that all projects can use it. Select all nodes except the media out, and right-click and go to the Macro menu and Create Macro. In the window that pops up, we are only looking for one property because we only want to be able to edit the text. All other settings should be locked away out of reach. Find the Text One list and then look for Styled Text. Tick this box and then give the macro a name. This will be what's shown in the Effects window, so give it a good name you can easily find. Click on Close and then choose the location for the macro. For it to show up in the Effects title section, we need to find the following location. So within the User folder, go to Library, then Application Support, Blackmagic Design, DaVinci Resolve, Fusion. Once in the Fusion folder, go to Templates, then find Edit. If it doesn't exist, you can create it. Inside that, you need titles. Again, if you don't see it, create it, and save your file here. Now you can save this file and close DaVinci. as we need DaVinci to see our new template macro, so a restart is necessary. Once Resolve has started, create a new project. Go to the Effects tab at the top, then look in the Titles section and find the title you created. Drag it onto the timeline. To see it working properly, I'm going to add an image under it so I can see the masking and fading. So in the Media Pool section, I import, Command-I, and select an image. Drag it on the timeline and extend the clip. Scrubbing the timeline, I can see everything looks good, except the text needs changing. So select the title sequence, and on the Inspector section in the top right, you should see the text field where the text can be updated. You can have as many of these on the timeline as you want, so let's quickly copy and paste it, and then change the second one's text. As you can see, both title sequences are independent, but share the same animation and style. And that's it. A little bit of work up front to save loads of time later in the edit process. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have something specific you want explaining, please leave a comment and we can create a video for you. Until next time, see ya!